is Jessica Webster.
And this is Sam Pogue of the Fitness Break Room podcast. Sit back, take a well-deserved break, and learn about the journey that helps shape the most successful fitness professionals in the industry today. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Fitness Break Room podcast. I'm your host, Sam Pogue. I'm sitting down with my buddy, Jeremy Hills, Director of Sports Performance for Onnit, down here in Austin, Texas. Thanks, brother, for joining me.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's been a fun ride, man. I've tried really hard to make sure that I hadn't just overwhelmed the podcast with Onnit guests because, it's people would assume I can get, you and John Wolf and Eric Leha on the show. So really wanted to showcase that there was a lot of other people, but that doesn't devalue like how much you bring to me and Onnit and to the fitness industry in general. But Jeremy and I are wanting to get this show in because we're hopefully going to start having some nice little surprises for you guys, being able to drop in some cool sports shows with some of these athletes that you guys really like, and be able to share their stories and how fitness has played a role in their story. So you guys are definitely going to be seeing Jeremy a lot more, and it's going to be a lot of fun to be able to share time and space and his knowledge in the performance realm. So
let's have fun.
Yeah, so getting into that, now we're sitting here, if you guys follow him on Instagram or you see us online, you see Jeremy Hills as this guy that trains NFL athletes and all these traveling around the world, sitting sidelines at UT games with Matthew McConaughey and but there's so much more to him than that. And there's a really great story deep in this beautiful human.
Oh.
Human. I didn't go with looks. I don't want to stroke the ego that hard.
I'll take it. Just keep going. You're doing good right now.
I've never been this nice to him ever.
I like it.
So it's a new thing for us. So, before there was NFL athletes, before there was you being the director of sports performance at Onnit, tell us about what it took to get here. Take us all the way back to little Jeremy Hills who needs to eat a sandwich.
Oh yeah. Okay. So I have 3 abnormally large brothers. All of them are older than me and much larger than me. I'm not sure. If we didn't look exactly alike, I'd be like, maybe adoption, maybe. But no.
I look like the next door neighbor a lot.
Right. But so we come from a long tradition of really talented, really successful athletes. My father played professional football for the Houston Oilers in the 80s, and that's originally how my family migrated from Dallas to Houston. I wasn't around in that time, but I hear that they had good Dallas stories to tell. And then one of my brothers played just about 10 years in the NFL. I went to 2 Super Bowls, won one, lost one. I was an All-American at the University of Texas, played in that great Texas USC 2005 national championship game. So he had a long story, a long, great career. My mother was a collegiate basketball player, so she ran track. My uncle ran track, so it's like really good or really talented athletes, or just a dime a dozen in the family, and they were not impressed with me. They were not impressed with me. And I was probably more impressed with myself than they were with me growing up.
No, I mean, who would have thought that?
But no. So I grew up in Houston. I stayed on the southwest side of Houston. It's a place called A-Leaf. So it's all my Houston people is, as you know, we're talking between Beltway 8, I-10, Highway 6, and 59 South. So it's this community that just stretches between those 4 major highways, and that's where I spent my entire life. And it's not the best area in Houston, to be light about it, but that's all I knew as the world. All I knew as the world was that early on, it was like, wait, how'd that? You said your father played professional football. Well, my father and my mother divorced when I was 3. And so he made a lot and he took a lot with him. And so I grew up in project housing. And all that is I mean, it has like this ooh about it. But really all it is just government housing where it's just a lot of apartments.
Yeah.
That's really all it is. A lot of low income apartments just in like almost like row homes.
Mm-hmm.
Think row apartments, and they're just one after another. So that's where we stayed at, and you learn a lot of life lessons early on, and you
forced to grow up really quick.
Grow up really quick. You grow up really quick, and I think honestly, that's helped me because I'm only 28. I'll be 29 here in September, but I've been able to kind of have a calmness about me in most situations that you would expect from somebody that's probably a little older, and that's because of the real life situations that you kind of deal with and grow up with in that type of environment.
Mm-hmm.
So coming from there and knowing that we wanted more, and sports was the tool that we used in order to try to achieve dreams far beyond sports, and really grow up and stay out of trouble. So in our area, they throw everybody into a sport as a kid simply to keep you out of the street kind of deal. The ones that are really good, they go on and play for a long time. The Bennett brothers,
Mm-hmm.
Martellus and Michael Bennett, the Charlo brothers, the boxers, Jamal and Jamel Charlo. Like, we all come up in this one neighborhood, this one area, and man, great athletes come out of there, and they go on and do good things in sport and out of sport and community as well. Rashad Lewis, this list kind of goes on and on and on. And I was one of the few, and one of the lucky ones that was able to come out of that place with a full scholarship to the University of Texas to continue to play sports and play through a great time at UT. I played in the Colt McCoy era, and boy, did we have fun. I mean, for those of you that want to know how much fun, we lost one game in 2 years. Yeah, so we had a run. And I honestly thought that was like just what it was to be a UT, Longhorn, a Texas Longhorn. But man, we got to get back there first of all.
Yeah.
But no, we had a great run. We went 12-1 my first year, 12-0 the second year, and then I'm losing the national championship to Alabama when Colt went down, which we wouldn't have lost if Colt went down. But
you're hearing it firsthand right
I'm
here.
telling you right now. The world knows it. The world knows. Oh, we were on them.
So go back real quick, and we've talked about this before. Your high school conference for football. Give me the run of names that you were playing high school football against.
Man, it's tough. I grew up District 185A.
Okay.
This is District 185A. So this is to get to a high school playoff game. You have to go beat.
This ain't even state.
No, this isn't state. This is to get to the playoffs. So you have to go beat Katy, and at the time, Katy has Andy Dalton and Andre Dean. And that's a combination. Andy Dalton, the Red Rifle, is still doing his thing in the NFL, and Andre Dean was a beast of a running back. Then if you beat Katy, then you have to come down and see the Bennett boys, Martellus and Michael Bennett at A-Leaf Taylor. And we all know about Martellus and Michael Bennett. Congratulations to Martellus, he just retired. Then if you beat them, now you come up and you got to go play Stratford. There's this young guy at Stratford that's like big with a rifle arm, and he goes on to be Andrew Luck. So so now this kid's like 15 years old, and he's like throwing for like 450 yards a game, and everybody's like, who is this?
Against not crappy talent.
Oh, not at all.
Against top tier talent.
Top tier talent in the state. And then the thing is, now that you have the privilege of you beat the young talented, the young guy with the big arm that everybody knows is going to grow up and be a great player, then after you beat him, now here comes Port Arthur Memorial, and it got this guy named Jamal Charles. And then, now he's running wild, and nobody can stop him. But you get past Jamal Charles somehow, some way. Well, now here comes West Orange Stark with Earl Thomas and crew. So it's like it never stops. It never stops. It's just, and that just goes to tell you about that talent pool in the Houston and Golden Triangle area from that 05 to 08, 09 range, man. It was just crazy talent in one area, and it was like a gauntlet. It was a gauntlet, survival of the fittest. We went 7-4 one year and celebrated like we won everything that you could imagine, just because it's so hard to have a winning record. It was so hard to have a winning record coming out of there. But we were not shy of competition. We weren't shy of competition. When we got to college, we were ready to go.
Yeah.
And a lot of those guys, like I said, are still playing. Playing. So
I will say, like, I expected, just for how physical of a runner Jamal is, to see him, I was like, wow, you're very slender.
Yeah.
Like, he's very lean for, I'm like, God, your body takes a effing beating.
Yeah.
Which is even more impressive, because, like, a 240-pound running back, like, can take a couple hits, right?
Yeah.
They can absorb some hits, and the evolution of the defensive line player since high school to now is stupid.
Oh, no question. I mean, you've seen Alex Okafor in here. That guy can outrun you.
Right.
And not you, Sam. I mean,
no,
you.
He can outrun me.
Well, I mean, that guy's 6'6", 260 pounds, and he's jumping a 40-inch vertical, and he's running a 4.62 4. Like, come on, man. Who's making these guys?
Yeah.
Who is making these guys at this point? That's why I'm like, hey, I'm glad I got out and got in. I got in and got out when I did. Because, like, the athlete, the level of athlete at the defensive line position and then even the offensive line position. Oh man, I want no parts.
I mean, half these kids are probably going Division
100%.
signing letters of intent in 8th grade, probably.
100%. We had a kid, Derwin James. He's coming out in the draft this year. Florida State offered him when he was going into his freshman year in high school. He committed at 14 years old.
What?
Google it. He committed at 14 years old to Florida State.
That's impressive. That's
what kind of athletes are coming out now.
Yeah, and what did he put up at the combine? He just crushed it, right?
Oh yeah, he just crushed it. He ran 4.48 official. He ran at 6'3", 215 pounds.
Yeah,
he ran 4.48 official, and he jumped over a 40-inch vertical. He jumped just about right shy of 11-foot broad jump. I'm like, super explosive.
Mm-hmm.
Put up, I want to say right under 20 reps on the 225. Like, come on, man. He's as good as advertised. He's as good as advertised. He's going to play for a long time. He's Jalen Ramsey 2.0.
Okay.
Telling you.
Okay.
You heard it here.
When it's all said and done, though.
You heard it here.
Who's going into the hall?
You mean from our? Come on.
I'm just trying to put him on the spot.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that to him. That'd be mean.
Earl Thomas will be a first ballot Hall of Famer
for sure.
That's we all understand that. And it's funny because I get that question a lot. It's like, all right, who's the most talented guy you've trained? And I really think about it, and we see a lot of talented guys,
mm-hmm.
but I honestly think like just God gifted ability. Jalen Ramsey has a lot of it.
Yeah,
like a lot of it. And then he's like, who's the best you've ever trained? And I really think about it. And that's when you really go into that potential versus production conversation. Mm-hmm. And you start to think, and you're like, what Earl Thomas has done. I mean, he's not even 29 yet. And what Earl Thomas has done in the last 8 years in this league is phenomenal. It's just phenomenal. And you look at the body of work, and you're like, that's coming from a guy that's 5'10", 198 pounds. Doesn't jump the highest by far.
Right.
I want to go ahead. By far. Can't jump. He doesn't jump the highest, but his heart and his willingness to be he gives everything.
Mm-hmm.
He's a fine example. And that's why I love when he comes in with the younger guys.
Yeah.
I absolutely love when he's in this gym and the younger guys are in, because everything that I'm talking about that the great ones do, I no longer have to say anything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to say a single word. You just look over there and you say, oh shit, he's not in here talking about how his weekend was for 15 minutes. No, he comes in and he locks in and he just goes to work.
Yeah.
Christian was telling me the other day, he said, it's funny, we were going through the durability session and it's just like he just zoned out, but he just zoned in. It's almost like you don't want to say nothing to him.
Mm-hmm.
I get the question all the time, how is it training Earl Thomas? I'm like, quiet. It's very quiet.
Yeah.
It's like absolute silence, actually. Mm-hmm. It's, what do I got? Why are we doing it? How do I do it? How many? Stay out my way.
Yeah.
And it's been like that for the last 9 years.
Yeah. Well, and he's up here too. He's so intelligent. Yeah. I mean, I went to his house for dinner in September.
Yeah.
And it's his kid's birthday party and his baby shower for
mm-hmm.
his new daughter,
mm-hmm.
and his whole family, extended family, his family, everyone's there, and I'm there, and he sits down. He's like, hold up, and he watches the game. He sits down with the iPad with everybody around.
The one he just played in.
Yeah, the one he just played in.
Yeah.
Right. And
like that day.
That game. Like, I mean, he came home from CenturyLink, sat down. Hey, what's up?
Yeah.
Watch the game. Cool. Okay, now I'm ready to engage.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that was impressive. I was so impressed with that. You know, and not expecting him to like turn away what he does normally to entertain me by any means, but so impressed because his family was there.
Yeah.
Right? Where it's like, you were that much a professional.
Yeah.
Well, the game you just got done, it's fresh in my mind. They talk about recording yourself, whatever it may be. And that's like that. There's a difference right there.
I mean, you see it, and shout out to his family because they understand.
Yeah.
I'm sure no one messed with him.
Not one
at all. Like, and that's what he does.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to see it while it's fresh on his head. I mean, I've been with him after a game where we're leaving the stadium. We're leaving the stadium from a game he just won. You would think we'd be talking about some of the highlight plays.
Yeah.
He wants to know, hey, when there's about 8 minutes left in that second quarter, we were running cover 3. I think it was that second drive. What'd you see? It's just automatic, man. It's automatic. So it's like, if this is somebody that's this great, that's this proven, and he's willing to work this hard, then what's your excuse?
Totally.
And that's my question, one, to myself.
Yeah.
But then also to any of the other younger guys that we have come in.
Yeah. Well, and I think, and I've talked to Jeremy about this before, but his superpower, if he were to have a superpower, it is relatability and contextualization to the athletes from the training floor to what they do, and not just about like, oh, we're going to do this drill because it's going to help you get out and do this better, this route better, but it's what's your emotional tie to what you're doing and what kind of effort are you putting into this, because that's going to retranslate into what you're doing out there. And to get buy-in from any of these high-level athletes is special. I mean, that's the game. For any of you that have trained pro athletes or work with them now or had in the past, it's a bartering game, and it's not always that easy. It's not always an Earl Thomas or a Jake Arrieta that wants to like give me everything, right? And then I'm going to digest it and go do it, right? But he does such a great job, whether it's the young kids or even the veterans who are trying to restart their career, right? Or hit that next one more contract, right? And he does such a great job doing that. But I will say it comes from a lineage of a story that you have that isn't because, yes, you were a 4 or 5 star recruit.
Yeah, 4-star.
4-star recruit.
Yeah.
Went to the University of Texas. The University of Texas, right? One of the most prolific collegiate programs in the world. Doesn't matter what other school you came from, you have to recognize that UT is a force in multiple sports. I went and saw a baseball game there, and most schools are happy to win a national championship in their life, right? In general. This school has 3 blank baseballs right next to their 3 national championships. I'm like, you were that confident. You will win 3 more at some point in time.
At some point in time.
Just
it's going to happen.
We might as well just put 6 baseballs up there for future national championships.
Right.
Like, what?
Yeah, that's how UT rolls.
Yeah.
That's how they roll.
So Tony, your older brother, came to UT. He was All-American at tight end though, right?
He came. It's funny. Tony was possibly one of the best tight ends, and I'm not just saying this because it's my brother. I mean, I'll back up a little bit. My dad, he was still active in my life, even though him and mom were divorced early on, and he taught us all. If he didn't teach us anything, he taught us how to watch film. So it's funny, while other 6 and 7 year olds were probably watching Sesame Street or whatever, I was watching film. I've been watching film for a very long time.
Yeah.
He taught me how to watch film. What are we looking for? Why are we watching it? How to make corrections, and then how to take what we've seen from the film and apply it on the field. And that last part is what a lot of young players have the biggest struggle with.
Yeah.
How do we take from what we've seen on film and apply it to the field? So he taught me all of that really early on, along with my brothers. And Tony blossomed, man. Physically, he was a specimen. He was 16 years old, and he was 6'5", 260 pounds. And he was very athletic. He actually was on the junior Olympic team, and they won they won it all in Spain. He played with Kendrick Perkins on the junior Olympic team, and they won it all in Spain at 16. So, yeah, man.
Freak athletes.
Right. Now, he was a crazy athlete. He was also the #1 tight end in the country with right under 80 Division I scholarship offers.
80?
He was the #1 tight end in the country with right under 80 Division I scholarship offers.
Okay.
I tell people all the time, the first time I ever met Nick Saban was in my living room when he was a coach for LSU. Yeah. So, I was able to sit down. I was in 8th grade at the time.
Yeah.
8th grade at the time. And it was like every ball coach you can think of. I remember Les Miles at LSU.
Yeah.
I remember Nick Gass also at LSU. I remember just all of these legendary coaches that you meet. And it's like, man, like, you look back on it and you don't realize how special that moment really was until you realize that doesn't happen all the time. But with Tony, he his senior year, actually, they were getting ready to play Converse Judson, which is a powerhouse school out of San Antonio, and he was coming off of a shoulder injury, and so he had taken some Advil or Aleve or whatever, just trying to help out with the shoulder before the game, and he catches a seam route from a tight end position. He was running a seam right down cover 3, safety comes over the top, grabs. It's right. He dropped the ball. Quarterback's name was Rashawn Jefferson. Shout out Rashawn Jefferson. Great pass. He drops it right over the linebacker's head, right in front of the safety. Boom, perfect pass. Tony catches it, routine catch. Safety grabs the face mask. He's a big kid. In high school, and this kid's 6'6", 260. So just grab and hold on. That was technique when he was tackling my brother. It was literally grab and hold on. I got high school tape of 6 and 7 guys on him at one time. It's crazy. But
so wrestling went well for you as a kid.
Yeah, right. I had this one move. It was automatic. It's called "I'm Gonna Tell Mom." All right? That's how good wrestling went for me as a kid. What do you mean? Kids are huge. So he grabs his face mask, and the linebacker chops him right at his knee. But where he should have went down, he was bigger, stronger, faster than a lot of other kids, and he was also on pain meds. He didn't necessarily feel the hit, so he's still running. And the face mask is still being dragged, and he grabs, and he finally falls. and he gets up. And then he stands up, and then he goes back down. Turns out he tore his ACL, his MCL, his PCL, and had nerve damage that developed into drop foot. So he went the next year and a half without walking. And they said that he had.
He's a big man. Okay. How did you get him around the house?
Man, it was funny. He crutched
Okay.
everywhere, of course.
Okay.
But it was tough. I told you our area of Houston.
Uh-huh.
And he was looked at as we never seen anything. The last time that area seen something as talented as Tony was Rashard Lewis, the guy that came straight out of our high school and went to the NBA. And then it was Tony, who was, our stadium at the time fit about 7,000. And every week it was 7,000 people there, just packed out.
Texas football.
Every college coach you can think about. It was, the number one tight end in the country.
Mm-hmm.
The number one 5-star tight end in the country, who is literally also a small forward and junior Olympian, so to see him go down, it was like our Superman just went down.
Mm-hmm.
And it was tough. And I tell people that was a tough year for the family, for him, not knowing if he was going to walk again. He couldn't lift his toe. For those of you that don't know, drop foot is literally it's a nerve damage. And whenever you have nerve damage, obviously you can't send the signal to do whatever you're trying to tell your body to do. So he couldn't lift his foot up. There was no dorsiflexion at all, zero. So he wore a corrective boot, and he always wore pants. So he wore a corrective boot that would just make his foot sit up so that he could even kind of hobble around without dragging his foot everywhere. That went on for about a year and a half. And this is when I seen the business side to football. Is because he went from the number one tight end in the country, right under 80 Division I scholarships, to 16 offers, majority of them being low-level mid-majors, and UT. Because Mac Brown sat in our living room and said, I offered Anthony, his real name Anthony, I offered Anthony, the young man, who is also a football player. He said, are you still the same young man? My brother said, yes, I am. He said, then your offer still stands. You'll find some way to help this football team.
Wow.
Yeah. He said, if you never play again, you'll find some way to help. Man, Mac Brown, when I talk about Mac, I'm like, listen, it's bigger than football.
Yeah.
And it will always be. He kept the offer on the table for him, full ride. Tony goes on a year later after his recruiting class. So a year after his recruiting class, the next following class, he enrolls into UT.
2 years out of football.
2 years out of football, he enrolls into UT. Mad Dog says, the strength and conditioning coach, Jeff Mad Dog Madden, tells Kenny Boyd, who was the head trainer at the time, if you guys can get him to run 10 yards, I'll make him an All-American. And so he works effortlessly, tireless. He goes. I see my brother go into like this different space. Because, the world had thrown him away.
Yeah.
The world had thrown him away. He was literally like, people were saying stuff like, man, he would have been, man, he should have been. Like, they had thrown him away as if he died. It was crazy. And he switches positions. He gains 50 pounds, and he switches from tight end to left tackle. Picks up on a position, still with the drop foot, but he's learning how to move with drop foot. And then finally, Dr. Andrews does a surgery on him, and it works, and he starts to regain some feeling. He starts to be able to move his. I'll never forget, we were playing Madden in the room one day, and I was beating him, and he got pissed, and he jumped up because he was getting mad. He said the game was cheating, and he jumped up, and then he stopped, and he dropped the controller, and he goes, Jay, yo, I can feel my foot. And I'm looking at him, and I'm thinking he's bullshitting me. I'm thinking he's trying to. My brother would do anything to win Madden. So I'm like not letting go of the controller. I'm like, and he's like,
competitive household.
Yeah, no question.
Yeah.
Everything. Who can wash the dishes the fastest? Everything.
Oh,
But I'm like, you bullshitting me? And he's like, I'm serious. And then he moves his foot for the first time in almost 18 months.
Oh shit.
And within 10 minutes, he's walking around the house. Like crying, like uncontrollably. He's crying hard. Now I'm crying, and I'm watching him walk. Our mom isn't home yet. It's just me and him. And he's walking around the house, and he's screaming like he's like, thank you, like he's crazy,
Yeah.
it's crazy. And then rehab started. He actually went up to UT.
Okay.
They told him they had the scholarship on the table for whenever he could report.
Wow.
And then he went up to UT, started rehabbing, and the following football season, got on the field as a left tackle. 3 years later, he was an All-American playing in the national championship.
Jeez.
Yeah, then he got drafted to the Pittsburgh Steelers and won the Super Bowl his rookie year.
I mean,
went on to play 9 more years and went on to another Super Bowl. They lost to Green Bay the second time.
Oh,
but, I mean, he goes on to
man.
another Super Bowl. I'm just like, I'll think about his story, and I'm like, man, either you have a lucky rabbit's foot that you never told me about, which is kind of disappointing, or you made a deal with a certain someone that you're going to have to pay for. Like, it's one of the, like, what? What is this? But I learned early on that bet on yourself. Bet on yourself. Don't believe the hype. Like, block out the noise. And if you, and honestly, even in training now, what am I always telling these guys? Hey, block out the noise. Don't read your own press clippings. Let them give you compliments. Because I've seen it. I've seen them raise a young man to be Jesus, and then that same young man throw him away as if he died when he wasn't performing the same on the field because of an injury.
Mind you, he's 17 years old.
17 years old. 17 years old. I've seen it. And I'm 14, 13 at the time, and I see it. So I learned quickly. I learned real quickly. I was able to learn a lot just from observing him without actually having to go through it myself.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what I think wisdom is really being able to learn from somebody else's experiences without you having to experience them your own self. So I took those same lessons as if they were my own, and I've applied them to my life and in the lives that I've had the great responsibility and privilege to be involved with.
Yeah.
And these are some lessons that I went through and some that I've also learned through my brother. And that's kind of, I take that mindset, and I think I honestly, truly believe that outside of durability and recovery, that, I mean, I almost in front of those two, it's the mindset.
Totally.
More than anything, more than any other attribute that you can have, the mindset has to be right. And so we spend a lot. If you ever get a chance, and I mean, you've seen us in there. You ever get a chance? That's kind of what we speak to a lot. It's like, hey, what we locked in on right now? And a lot of times, even through training with these guys, I try to put them mentally in situations to what we're doing today, where it applies. I give them situations. I take the responsibility of myself, Sean, and some of the other staff. We do watch a lot of film on these guys. So we can give them real life situations that they have previously been in, that they either won or lost in, because you only do one or the other. There's no tie. You either won or you lost, everything you do. So when they've either won or lost a situation, let's put them back in that scenario up here to where now today has purpose. This drill has purpose. This moment now has a purpose. And the purpose is something that you relate to very well because you remember when you won there, or you remember when you lost there. And then today is going to try to get us in that win column a lot more going forward with these same similar type situations in the future. Yeah. And that's what I've kind of noticed is a big difference. Is a big difference for the guys, is that they appreciate that level of attention to detail and that level of scrutiny. They appreciate it. They appreciate it. I'm going through with like a fine-tooth comb looking for where we can get better. Just looking for where we can. And I say we because I feel like that's honestly the best part of this job that I've been able to be a part of, is going on this journey with every single individual athlete that has trusted us to get them from where they're at, from here to here. So they want to go from where they're at to where they see themselves. And they've trusted us to kind of get them in that direction at least. Yeah. Because ultimately they're going to be the ones to do it. Absolutely. But how do we educate them? How do we teach them about their bodies? How do we teach them about a mindset? How do we put them in positions to win? How do we give them the tools to where when they're not even in this facility, they can continue to practice these right things that can have them healthy for a long season? So I guess all the intangibles. Yeah. Well, I mean, you would have been an amazing coach and leader in this industry just off of your experience with Tony. Yeah. And watching that happen, growing up in the projects without
a lot of advantages that a lot of kids do, but at the same time, there's a lot of athletes that do come from that scenario.
100%.
Right. And especially with nutrition, and this is nothing against nutrition, where, eating this and doing that and doing this is going to make you the greatest athlete in the world.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, you got LeBron James growing up in the projects. Homie, I sure missed a couple meals during some formidable years at some point in time in his life.
No doubt about it.
And ain't no one out there questioning whether he's built to be an athlete.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, oh, right. So a lot of kids, and sports is conditioned for kids growing up in the projects. Like, you want to get out? This is your opportunity.
Oh, there's no motivation like that.
Right.
Listen, I'm telling you, when it's cold outside and your heater don't work,
yeah,
and you watch it and you cut on TV and you see that such and such sign for 6 years, 42 million. Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
I know he has a heater. Like, so
a couple of them.
Yeah, right. So I'm telling you that motivation factor is huge.
Mm-hmm.
I tell Sean all the time, I'm like, man, there's a significant difference from those that want it and those that need it.
Mm-hmm.
They can go to it. They can just tap into a different place within to continue going.
Absolutely.
And the sad thing is that when you start to see some of the success from the guys, and they lose that. They lose it. And I've seen it.
Yeah.
And they lose it, and it's crazy because once you lose it, there's no getting it back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once you're content, you're content.
I mean, it's hard though. I mean, because you can see a little bit of success and you're built up and then it's dropped on you.
Yeah.
You had some scenarios like that. You were a 4-star recruit coming out of a great area. So it's not like a 4-star recruit with a shitty schedule. It's a 4-star recruit going up against monsters.
Oh yeah.
And you obviously clearly were going to have a lot of offers being a 4-star kid.
Yeah.
But you had an experience where you came out to visit your brother here at UT and had to come visit him. Tell us about how you kind of really ended up coming out to UT, besides Tony obviously coming here and Mac Brown changing your family.
So my brother was a little bit more mild-mannered than I was. I was I was a straight A, couple of B's every now and again student. School came easy to me. Sports came easy to me. We went to state and track. We did really well. We were deep in the playoffs in football. We did really well. I received my first scholarship offer when I was 15, and I knew that my grades are right. I stay out of trouble. I got scholarship offer. I had like around 27 offers, so I was like, yeah, I'm going to college. Somewhere, right? A little arrogant, just a smidget, a little arrogant, and it's hard to tell a kid that's doing well on and off the field and in the classroom, what he should be doing. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't. Me and authority just didn't get along well. I had a lot of humbling that had to happen to get in my place. But my mother was fed up with it. She was just fed up with me doing what I wanted to do. And it was like I was smart enough to know how to get in trouble.
Yeah.
It was like you need to be you need to be in the house before the street lights are on. I'm walking in the house, street lights are on, and I'm like, there's a last street light down the block that's not on. You need to be more specific when you tell me street light. So that type of annoying was what I was.
Yeah. Who would have thought Jeremy Hills had a mouth on him at 13, 14, 15?
And when I was 17, she was just like, okay, I need a break. I mean, think about it, man. That woman, and she's amazing. My 2 oldest brothers aren't even her children.
Okay.
And she raised my 2 oldest brothers, and then Tony. My brother in front of Tony, he went to prison for 9.5 years, and that was tough on the family. And then Tony with the injury, and then I come up, and I'm just a smart ass, and it's like she was like, I need a break.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go to Dallas with your brother Mike, or you can go to Austin with your brother Tony, but you need to go. I was like, oh shit. I was like, wait, you mean this? She was like, yes. So. It was a summer. The summer going into my senior year, I hopped on a Greyhound with my bags packed, and that's how I got to Austin, Texas. And Tony was supposed to pick me up from the Greyhound stop right by Highland Mall, and I get there, and I'm like, where is he? And I don't see him. So then this is where we're at, 2007. So then I get on a payphone. This is where we're at. All right, I get on a payphone and. I have people, what's a payphone? So I get on a payphone and I call Tony and I'm like, where you at? And he's like, oh, you already here? It's like, yeah, where you at? He's like, I'm at Texas Roadhouse down south. Catch a taxi, and then I'll just get the guy the money when you get here. I catch a taxi, and then I'm pissed at this point. I've been on the Greyhound for 3 hours. Now I'm in a taxi for another 45 minutes to an hour. I walk into Texas Roadhouse with a big suitcase, and I'm upset. I'm upset. But yeah, I got to hear the UT that summer, and was able to work out some with my brother and Mad Dog and some of the team that summer at UT, and I got real close. I got real close there, and it's funny because it was like I had grown up a University of Miami fan, and I was ready to commit there and go to college there. But spending that summer kind of grinding with the guys, some of the guys that if I committed here, would be my future teammates, then I kind of fell in love with everything that went into the process of the success that we see when we cut the TV on the weekend. And so I just learned a whole new discipline. And that's why I say her putting me at the house was the best thing that could ever happen.
Yeah.
It forced me to kind of grow up a little more, get outside of myself. Like I said earlier, all we knew was the world inside of those four major highways. That's all we knew. I still know to this day people from that area that has never been to the north side of Houston.
Wow.
Like like that's what I'm saying. It's like all we knew was the world in between those four major highways. And my mother would always tell me, the world is bigger than A-Leaf, Jeremy. I didn't know, like world geography teaches us the world is, what do you mean?
Right.
I get it. Expand your mind. Understand that there's so much going on that's a lot more important than these little trivial things that you try to put on a pedestal because that's what you were taught in an environment that doesn't know any better to teach you better. So getting to Austin was one of the best things that could have happened. I went back, I finished up that last semester, then I graduated early and I enrolled into school. So I come June, I stay through August, I go back to A-Leaf through December, and then I enroll in January.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So you didn't even finish a senior year?
No.
No last hurrah, no. Football season was done, you had offers.
Football's done. I love what's happening at Texas. A-Leaf has been real.
Did you get an offer from Miami?
I did.
How hard was that at that point?
It was.
Or was it decided for you?
No, it was tough. It was tough because this was. I had so many. Miami was one of my late offers, and I had so many other offers, but it was Notre Dame, it was Michigan State, it was some big name schools. It was LSU, but it was nobody that I was particularly interested in. And honestly, I knew I wasn't going anywhere where it was cold to play football because I absolutely hate the cold. So I knew that wasn't.
I'd pay money to see you go into a cold city though and have to do
think
sports.
About it. You've seen me get in the cold tub. So imagine me like trying to play football at Michigan State. I could just see me like shivering right now. Like it's not happening. So, and that's true. That's
walking with your parka on to the field before the snap.
100%, 100% that would have happened. But when Miami offered late, I almost jumped bail on UT and went to Miami. It was my dream.
Right.
I had went out there. I'd done a camp. I did really well at the camp. Larry Coker was the head coach. He put the offer on the table. So it was one of those things where it's like you try to call someone's bluff and then they do it and you're like, oh, okay. Damn. I didn't think y'all were actually going to offer. Let me go talk to my family kind of deal. And then unfortunately, I still don't know what happened with this case, but one of their football players was found dead in his living room, execution style. Yeah. So my mom didn't want me and my immaturity level at that time. She didn't want me in Miami by myself with no family. Then that incident happened and she was like, please do not go here. And one of the best things I could have done was actually listening to her. And don't get me wrong, I'm still a fan of Miami.
We're saving that clip and sending it to the mom right there. That clip right there. He's like,
That's true, man. But it's just like, I'm still a fan.
Yeah.
I love what's going on. I hope Miami, now that my guy, Coach Diaz, is over there, I want those guys to be super successful. But that wasn't the path for me. I'm glad that I stayed on my path. And even if it wasn't of my own doing or, I didn't let the distraction, because that was a distraction. I didn't let that distraction ultimately take me off course. And I always say that, things happen the way they're supposed to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Coming to Texas was probably one of the best decisions I ever made. I mean, obviously, I still live here in Austin today.
Right.
And coming to Texas was one of the best decisions I ever made because it forced me to grow up.
Mm-hmm.
I got here and instantly bumped heads with Major Applewhite. Instantly, day one, like almost day one to day 390. Whatever.
Who is he, for people who don't know?
Okay, Major Applewhite is now the head coach of the University of Houston. Formerly was the co-offensive coordinator and running backs coach for the University of Texas. Also formerly a UT quarterback legend who was entered into the Holiday Bowl Hall of Fame not too long ago. Congratulations, Coach. And very stern, very strict, very matter of fact, and with a very high IQ and a very high expectation level. And it was tough. Coming from me, where up to this point, Sam, everything came easy.
Mm-hmm.
School came easy. Social interaction came easy. Football came easy. So you get a kid that everything came easy, and then you get a guy that is, for him personally in his playing career and his work, everything he's worked for, every single thing. Major's 5'11", max, and is in the Holiday Bowl Hall of Fame at the quarterback position. That's kind of, the Major Applewhite, Chris Sims deal. Like Major got his chip on his shoulder, and that's how he coaches. And I thought I watched film until I met Major.
Oh, shit.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you had that more than other kids, too.
Yeah. So I come in, and they're trying to teach us how to watch film, and my little arrogant self, I know, I get it. Yeah, I read the mic, backside, corner safety, I got it. What next? Can we get to something?
The freshman.
Yeah, the freshman.
Right.
I come in, like this highly recruited freshman comes in.
And you're Tony's brother.
And I'm Tony's brother. He literally just, like the year I came in, we were here for like a couple of days together.
Right.
Like I got here that January. He left in February.
Right.
So we were here a couple of days in January together. Then he left, trained for the draft, and ended up going to Pittsburgh and winning that Super Bowl. So it's like, I'm like, can we get to the point where I get the ball? But that's in Major, man, so we bumped heads a lot, but the best thing that could have ever happened was me learning from him. Me learning, and Major Applewhite is a friend to this day. We talk till this day. And he's taught me so much that I now teach to the guys that come into this building, the younger guys that come into this building. And the discipline that it takes to be great is the main thing that I learned from Major Applewhite.
Wow.
The type of discipline that it really takes. Past the fluff. Major was the first person. He actually told me this quote that sticks with me to this day. I kind of live by it. He's like, 95% of the world is bullshit. It's up to you to find that 5% and operate in it every single day.
I like it.
Yeah. That's what you got to do. Like everything. It's a lot of handshakes. There's a lot of smiles. There's a lot of dinners. There's some golf tournaments. You go do this. You go to eat. If your heart is in it, then that's one thing. But when it's not, and it's for publicity reasons or relationship reasons, and you're at a charity event that you don't even fully know about, what's the odds? Why are you there?
Right.
And it's usually for some type of gain that has, blah, 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 everything's connected. Then there's this 5%. Then there's this 5% that really matters. Those are things that really, really matter. The people that depend on you, the people who have invested in you, the reasons why you can't be lazy, why there's no such thing as I'll do it tomorrow, why that doesn't exist, why mistakes can be made, but not the same one twice. Those reasons, that 5%, that's where you should operate in. And it takes a level of focus, a level of maturity, and a level of selflessness to even tap into that place to begin working. So we have to grow up before we can even start. And that's one of the main things I try to teach these youngsters that come in that have had this high level of success. They're the man on campus. They got the girls. They got congrats. All right, now that that's over. Now that I've told you congrats, because that's what you wanted, obviously. You wanted some type of affirmation that you're cute. I don't know what you wanted. But now that that's over, now that we don't give a shit about that, and we can finally lock in, hey, this is where we're at. Your hips are tight. You slow out your brakes. You're going to get beat. You don't take care of yourself. You'll probably be injured by year 3 and out the league by year 4, looking for a job, and I can't hire you here.
Laid out. Just set the table. Shit.
Now we can work.
Yeah.
Now we can work. And that's what I mean by it. It's like, find that 5% and stay there. And it is a daily challenge between you and you every single day. Every single choice. Whenever there's a choice on the table, and it's really not, you get to this point where in life where it's not like bad versus good. It's literally good versus great. And good is the enemy of great.
Mm-hmm.
And so every choice that's made is in one direction. It's either in the good direction or the great direction. The good direction or the great direction. The good direction or the great. And it's decision after decision after decision that finally, when you actually do take the break and you look up, you see, all right, I'm on track where I thought I would be. I'm not on schedule. I need to change some things, or I'm ahead of schedule. And they're all based off of decisions made. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I mean, I'm probably beating a dead horse here, but
no, keep beating it.
that's what that's where I mean, I learned that from major, and that's where I try to stay at now.
Yeah.
That's where I try to stay at now. So I laugh, I joke. I mean, I kick it with you guys all the time, and it's fun and it's funny. And then when it's time to work, all right.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. So you had that too, because you came in as a running back.
Yeah.
But you played both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Right. So what else? How did you end up playing both sides of the ball?
It's funny. I wasn't getting on the field as a running back.
Okay.
Didn't know the playbook as well as I thought I knew it.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that little cocky, arrogant attitude came back to bite you.
Yeah. How about that?
How about that?
How about that? Day one install.
He probably loved it.
He absolutely ate it up.
loved it.
He ate it up. Day one install came. So day one, breaking it down for my guys outside or my girls outside, whoever outside of just the football world. Day one install means day one installation, and it's where they put in the base level of what the program is about as it refers to your job in the offense, defense, or special teams. So it's the pillar, one of the pillars of the makeup of the team.
Mm-hmm.
So day one install came, so I'm good. Day two, I'm good. Day three, day four, day five, I'm good. Now week 6, are we still waking up at 5:30 a.m.? I'm still going to these workouts and this practice and this class and this study hall. I mean, I'm working from 5:30 literally to 8:30 every single day. Oh man, we still learning new plays? This is still going on?
Yeah.
Like,
What happened to me just being the good athlete that just goes out and does it?
What happened to that?
Yeah.
What happened to that? And it's tough when, I mean, a Texas practice is tough. Like I tell everybody, Tuesday practice was tougher than the Saturday games.
Uh-huh.
And I mean it. Because it's tough when you're in a game, you're in this practice, and they blow the whistles and they stop it, and you're right there on the spot. And it's a couple of bleeped out words right there, but he's saying,
You can cuss.
He's like, where the fuck are your eyes at?
Yeah.
What are you looking at? Who are you reading backside right now? And everybody's waiting on you to answer. The whole team in pads standing on the field waiting on you to answer. Because if you don't know, you just got somebody else hurt. You just got somebody else hit.
Mm.
So your lack of preparation is affecting other lives. It was a wall.
Yeah.
It was a wall. I became a shell of myself, almost not wanting to make mistakes, having to grow up.
You lost your swagger.
You lost, man, and that's the last thing you can afford to do.
Yeah.
In an alpha male game like that,
Yep.
they will eat you alive when they see blood.
Mm-hmm.
It is sharks out there, and they will eat you alive when they smell and see blood. So that's kind of what the situation was, and it took some growing up. It took me from my freshman to my junior year when it finally clicked for me.
Whoa.
Yeah. 2 years. It took 2 years for it finally to click for me. And when it clicked, I did real well.
Yeah.
But it took 2 years. How about this? I had to earn something.
Yeah.
How about I had to dig deep? How about I had to do some real self-reflection?
Mm-hmm.
How about I had to humble myself and actually come to other players on the team? Hey, man, you mind going over some tape with me later on? Yeah. Oh, a lot of humbling going on.
Right. Not just for the running back position.
Not just.
But you started playing.
When I started playing nickel, oh my gosh. They tried, and man, God bless Coach Aquino. They tried to keep that thing real simple for me. Mm-hmm. It's like, we know he got a whole bunch going on, but they try to keep it real simple for me. But now I'm learning both. And ultimately, I always say that everything happens the way it's supposed to, because I work with so many defensive backs right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I get it literally from both sides.
Yeah.
I know what we're taught at the defensive back spot, and I know what we're taught to beat what we're taught.
Mm-hmm.
So it works out. And I believe, my own belief is that God ordered my steps, and he knew that ultimately I would be in a position to where this information would become useful. But regardless, there will never be a reward without work in front of it. What are you being rewarded for? So the reward is the life I'm living now. The work was the consistent struggle for 2 years straight of even learning the information.
Yeah.
Like literally just learning the information. Before you can even apply it, you have to know what you're applying. So 2 years of trying to learn this information, all the while being a student at the University of Texas, studying kinesiology and anatomy and everything else.
Right.
You know?
Yeah,
So,
easy shit.
yeah,
Right? Nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Plenty
Whatever.
of time to party and everything
Right.
else.
So,
'Cause
yeah.
you don't have a spotlight on you at UT at all.
There's no
Right.
spotlight. Yeah.
Texas football is not very grandeur here in Austin, and
And
not the
mind
center.
you, we're the number one team in the country at the time.
Right.
It is good,
NFL.
good or bad. Everything you do is in front of a camera for the world to see, good or bad. Yeah. And you're 18 trying to grow up a little? Think about yourself at 18.
Oh, I was a douche.
All right,
I'm
now-
still a douche. But
Now put a camera on you 24/7.
oh,
Come on, man.
that's a
Like,
whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
That pressure that you aren't prepared for.
at all.
You know, now we'd both be fine. We're sitting on a camera right now. But fuck.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you're struggling.
And I'm struggling. In front of the camera.
So what did you compensate with? What was your outlet before? Because there's probably a momentary piece.
Yeah.
Where you went from like, oh shit, okay, I'm just here, and then you're probably going to drift a certain way that doesn't put you on the field in the film room more. What was your outlet then?
100%. It was partying.
Yeah.
It was partying. I was telling, like, hey man, look, they're gonna put me on the field or they not. Where the party? But that got old quick.
Yeah.
Because I mean that thing is just the same thing.
Every day.
It's just the same thing. And then it's funny. I actually, the guy that I didn't like the most was Major Applewhite, and that was the guy that I got with the most.
Mm-hmm.
And man, he and I, we had some personal conversations, and man, God bless him. We sat down and we did a lot of extra work together.
Mm-hmm.
We did a lot, and his personality didn't change. It wasn't he wasn't faking for the crowd.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll be right there in this type of intimate setting, and he's talking shit. He was watching film, and he's like, I can't put that shit on the field. And he's looking, and it's you and him.
Yeah.
And film starts at 5:30, but he and I showed up at 4:45 just to get us some extra time in. So what I learned is just the discipline that it took from that side of it, and then from the actual physical side of it, having to take care of yourself and take care of your body and put on lean muscle mass, but still staying explosive, become more nimble. Staying after practice, working on the jugs machine, getting your hands right, finding your niche to where you could help the team in a matter where they had to play you. That was one of the things that Benny Wiley taught me.
Oh, wow.
That was actually one of the things that Benny Wiley taught me. It was like, look at your offense. What are they lacking? What could you add? And literally, I would stay on the jugs machine for almost 45 minutes to an hour after every single practice. And I didn't think it's no secret. My senior year, I led the Big 12 in receptions for running backs and third down conversions for the position. And it was because of the work put in prior to, and that was Benny Wiley. So then, it was ultimately it was a growing up. It was a maturity process ultimately. But by the time I was a senior, I was team captain, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But the work I put in was, I mean, we had 5:30 meetings. I'm in the building at 4:30.
Mm-hmm.
We were out of practice by 7. I probably didn't get home till 9. I would stay on the jugs for 45 minutes, lead the jugs, go with Benny Wiley. Me and Benny Wiley would get some decompression work in the facility. Benny would make the actual PT staff stay late. They would be pissed. Donald Wynn, that's my guy. But Donald would be pissed. He would be just sitting up there like, I need to go home. And Benny and I would get workouts in every single day after practice. Every single day after practice. He taught me so much, so much. And then when that workout was over, I'd go into the training room. The janitors are cleaning up at this point.
Yeah.
And I literally became the definition of first one in, last guy out. And like I said, it clicked for me. And when it clicked, we win. And it was great. And that's why I have so much love for UT. It has nothing to do with throwing the horns or honestly, even the success of the football team.
Right.
That's where I became a man. That's when I started to understand. And it is the lessons learned in that 4.5 years that have now let me affect the lives of young athletes that are now coming up and going on to live out their dreams. it was literally my struggle that has now allowed me to help with the success of others.
Yeah.
So Texas will always have a special place for me.
Yeah.
And vice versa, I always have a special place for Texas. And it's just funny when I really sit back and look, I'm like, man, those years really flew by. But when I sit back and look at just the person, the guy walking in the door at 18 and the guy walking out the door at 22, just two. I mean, you wouldn't even believe that those are the same people.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I tell you this, walking out the door, you know, one thing that I really understood, the world is bigger than they leave. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it now. Mary Lemons. I get Mary Lemons. I get it. The world is bigger than they leave. And it's allowed me to just continue to understand the golden rule, which is that I don't know shit. That's the golden rule. It's not treat people how you want to be treated. That's not it. The golden rule is I don't know shit. I'm a constant student. And the only time I'm in the teacher role is when I'm just regurgitating information so that I can continue to learn.
Yeah.
That is my approach to everything that we're doing. When I go into any type of relationship, whether it's business, personal, whatever, all right, what can you teach me? What teach me? Teach me. What can I learn here? Yeah, where am I messing up? Yeah, how do we get better here?
Yeah.
It's just I try to come in with just questions because I don't have the answers.
Yeah.
I don't have the answers, and maybe through my questions there'll be an answer somewhere in there for somebody else.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah.
But I don't know shit.
Well, and, you know, I just knowing you, there was a period with Case, you're on the top of the world.
Yeah.
You figured out school. You stopped being a piece of shit, right? You're in the room at 4 in the morning, out the door at 9 p.m. School's on lock.
Yeah.
You know, still playing UT football.
Yeah.
You guys are winning, right? Which means you're even more on the pedestal.
Right.
And did something happen? You get hurt?
Yeah, that's kind of how that's what life does, right?
Oh, it has a fine way to balance.
When you figured it all out, it's like, haha. But what about this?
Yeah,
you know,
because you're set up to go to the league.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I'm good.
All Pac-12.
All Big 12.
Or Big 12. Sorry.
Oh my gosh, they're gonna kill you.
I'm from the West Coast.
Yeah.
I don't know why I did this.
Yeah.
That's like just natural. I'm like, I'm not even furthest thing from anything I would ever do.
You just turned into Tupac out of nowhere.
All eyes on me.
But all Big 12, life is good. I know I'm going to test well. And the reason I know I'm going to test well is because I'm with Benny every day and we worked on the numbers.
Who's Benny, by the way? For
Benny Wiley is not just a strength coach. I mean, just his resume. He's worked at the University of Texas Tech, Tennessee, the Dallas Cowboys, the University of Texas. He's now the strength coach for OU, the Oklahoma.
How was that? Is that okay? I mean,
it's good.
Okay,
it's
just
good.
making sure you're still allowed to talk to him, mention his name.
Yeah, but he's now with OU. He actually won. I don't know if you guys seen NBC's Strong the first season as one of the best strength and conditioning coaches in the world. And more importantly, he's a God-fearing, great husband and father. And he's a role model. He's a true role model of what happens when you do things the right way, how to handle adversity, how to overcome, and how to continue winning with a smile on your face. That's who he is.
Yeah.
But
and additionally, he's so Texas that he don't call it Oklahoma. He just straight up OU. Just in case you were wondering what OU was.
Or who. However you want to do that.
And it was just so natural. Just OU.
Yeah.
We're not going to recognize them as a state. They don't know.
we don't talk about the guys up north. All right? Guys of the north.
So you're working with Benny Wiley.
And we worked on some of my numbers, my vert, my broad, my bench, my 3-cone, L drill, the things they test on at the NFL Combine. So I'm kind of really confident in what I'll do there. I was jumping about 40-inch vertical. I knew I was going to run low 4.4. I tested out at 18, 19, so I knew with actual training on the 225 that I'll probably be in the low 20s. I kind of had my benchmarks, so I was very confident in where I would be. I would line those numbers up with the drafts previous as to where that would have me ranking so that you can kind of get a good projection just for confidence.
Yeah.
Good projection is where I would land. I was top 5 in some, top 10 in others. They had me going, I was a day 3 pick. So they said I'll be somewhere between the 5th and 7th round. And I was like, man, this dream is actually about to come true. And at this point, at 22, I thought I earned it. Which I still think at that time I did. You know, I earned it. And then my senior night, where it's literally senior night, we're playing TCU on Thanksgiving, and We run inside zone from the goal line. Case McCoy. How about this? I played through both McCoys and both Shipleys. So now I started with Jordan Shipley and Colt McCoy, and now I'm the older guy in the room, and now it's Case McCoy and Jackson Shipley. But Case.
What year is this?
This is 2012, 2011, okay. 2012, and we ran in the inside zone from the gun, and boom, get my read. Shade 5 reads over. DN crashes down. Outside linebacker scoots over. So it's me and him one-on-one. He scrapes over. It's me and him one-on-one. Make a move. Inside cut. I should walk into the end zone. There's nobody else there. They would run a cover 2 up high. Both safeties dipped out. I should walk into the end zone. Well, my slot receiver on my right, he's a young guy. He will remain nameless. He misses his block. As I'm shaking this linebacker and I go inside of him, a nickel safety that should not have been there was there, and he clips my leg, just making a tackle, not a dirty play. But my foot was planted in the ground. I actually break my proximal fibula, and I rip up my ATFL, flip in the end zone, stand up, adrenaline rushing so hard. I just broke my leg and ripped my ankle up. Adrenaline rushing so hard that I stand up in the end zone and start celebrating. Right?
Yeah.
Start hobbling over to the sideline. In my mind, I just sprained my ankle. I'll be all right.
Yeah.
But every step, this thing's starting to get worse, man. It's starting to hurt more and more. Get to the sideline. I'm like, man, something's not right. But my running back group doesn't care. We all had a group celebration. They make me do the group celebration. And then I hobble over to the sideline. I tell Kenny Boyd, head trainer at the time, I tell him, I was like, call Kenny over. I need him to spat my ankle. And he comes over and he's looking at me. He's like, oh, shit. He's like, hey, you should sit down. I was like, what? He said, just sit down. I sit down. He goes to go get Dr. Windler. Dr. Windler comes over. And as I'm sitting in the same position I'm sitting now on the bench, he grabs my leg and he starts moving it this way underneath my knee. And I'm like, stop, that hurts.
Don't do that. What the fuck are you doing?
And he said, you hear that clicking sound, son? I said, yeah, what is that? Those are your bones. You're not going back in. Instantly, I felt like this pain just run through my body. Oh, my gosh. I was like, oh, shit. Look down. I kick off my shoe. Ankle blows up like a balloon. All of a sudden, I can't walk again. And that's probably the last time I walked for like the next couple of months. But I tell people this, man. I was like, how about this? My last football play in Burnt Orange was in the end zone. Hey, I'll take it.
Hey, you're going to break a bat? You're going to go out? You're going to go out on top?
I'll take it. But, yeah. That was the last game I ever played at UT. I leave from there. I go on the train for the combine, and it was tough because I was hurt majority of the process. So I missed the combine. And then March 26, 2013, the Texas Pro Day comes up. I run 4.3840.
Oh, wow.
Fastest 40 I ever ran in my life. Ran 4.3840. Put up 22 reps on the 225. Vert had went down because of the injury, so I jumped to 37, and then jumped like a 10.6 broad, and put out a decent showing. And you really couldn't even tell I was hurt. People wanted to see if I was still hurt.
Right.
You couldn't tell I was hurting when I was doing any linear speed movements or anything, but I didn't move as well.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't laterally. I didn't move as well when it was time to change direction. And I remember Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers put me through like a lot of change direction drills because it's like, okay, you run really well straight. But this isn't track. Mm-hmm. You have to. It's a change of direction sport.
And you're probably going to be a third down back.
Yeah, 100% was. So, and I my ankle. It's funny because a bone breaks and bone heals, but ligaments, man, ligaments are tough. And it actually took like an additional year before I was all the way right again. I would take ibuprofen and put a shoe on for a long time, just because I had between the insertion point of my calcaneus and my Achilles where they attach, developed a slight grade of arthritis. Mm-hmm. So to the touch, super tender. I would have to widen my shoe all the way out just to get my foot inside. Then once my foot was inside, I would just tie my shoes really tight, pop ibuprofen, give me 30 minutes, and all right, now I can move. We were good, and this goes on for some time. That was a struggle for me because I believed I'd done everything right.
Yeah,
I believed that like I became who I was supposed to be. So I'm upset. I'm like, why?
Mm-hmm.
real dramatic. Like
22 is still not old.
Yeah, and
22, you're still a piece of shit trying to figure shit out.
I'm trying to figure it out. I mean, it's like I'm old and I'm mature for college. I'm young and dumb for life. So it's
I like that.
It's
I'm old and mature for college. I'm young and dumb for life.
so
That's
it's
great.
like it's that space right there
Yeah.
of like, what did I do wrong?
Mm-hmm.
What did I do wrong? But through my recovery process, I just became infatuated with the body, which I obviously had interest in it from my studies at UT, and I had some education, but it's nothing like going through it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so I worked with a lot of the Houston Rockets recovery staff, and there's a lady named Missy. Can't remember Missy's last name, but Missy was my head PT, and she taught me. Because I was angry. I was pissed.
Mm-hmm.
I was pissed. I was pissed.
You just had your dream taken away.
I was pissed.
And you thought you've already came back from that twice.
Exactly. So I was pissed. And it didn't show up in like me just going on rants or walking in mugging, but I just wasn't happy.
Yeah.
I wasn't happy. And she was very patient. Very, very, very patient. Older lady. And she taught me a lot. And one of the things it taught me was just simply, it was actually a sermon from Pastor Joel Osteen. And it was just, when one dream dies, dream another dream was the title of it. And Missy was really the driving force kind of behind that. And she's like, well, how can you help others with what you've been through? And that was a question I never asked myself. Like, I was so busy, woe is me.
Totally.
That I never thought, how can I help others with what I've been through? And then I turned my attention to the high school athlete. So I started working with a medical device sales company. And I was doing ortho sales. So I was doing a sports-related
Because after that, like, the dream of going to the NFL is gone.
Yeah, just because these ligaments alone, I'm going to have to wait another 18 months.
Right.
And
at that point,
with the arthritis, it's
3 more classes in front of you.
100%. So that was that. And it's like, what was I? Oh, yeah. So I'm working at a sports ortho company, and I'm working on MCLs, PCLs, MPFLs, rotator cuffs, labrum tears, distal biceps, proximal biceps, distal extremities, everything sports related injury wise. We're working on the actual surgeries and then the rehab behind them.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a different piece of knowledge to what I've learned through school and now learning through my own rehab.
Mm-hmm.
So it was almost like the trifecta kind of. And some local high school kids at my old high school, I started training them, kind of just to test my theories, but also to be around the game that I loved. And it worked. This is 2013.
Was it hard to be around?
At first.
Yeah.
Not around the youth. It wasn't hard to be around those guys because, to be honest, to be kind of just transparent, they still looked up to me.
Mm-hmm.
It was tough being around the friends of mine that had made it.
Mm. That
was the toughest thing. And it was because of some jealousy in me
right.
at the time. And I had recognized it early. And I was like, it's not Sam's fault that he plays for the Chargers.
Right.
I'm just upset that, Sam, I used to kill you in drills for years. And now you're getting paid to play football.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a little bit of that going on. And it was an internal battle. Again, most battles are between you and you. And it was tough to be around the game on that end.
Yeah.
So it was tough for me to watch the NFL.
Okay.
I would watch college ball. I watched a lot of high school ball. It was just tough to watch the NFL. I would cut on the NFL games, and I would see guys that I knew personally, and I was like, this guy's terrible.
Yeah.
So that was the toughest thing. But working with the high school guys, it just rejuvenated my spirit, man. It really did. In 2013, 2014, it just rejuvenated my spirit. And the theories that I thought behind training, coming just from a longevity standpoint, how ironic from the injured guy, but why don't we come from a longevity standpoint and put performance second a little bit, kind of just 1A 1B kind of deal, and it worked. Those kids started going to we had kids go to Texas, we had kids go to Florida State, we had kids go to Michigan State, USC. And so I knew that we kind of developed when I say we, it was just me. In the beginning, it was just me, and then it was Sean.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew there was a formula that worked. And then 2014 came along, and Earl Thomas tore his labrum. He tore his labrum, and he was rehabbing after the Patriots Super Bowl January of 15, and February, or first week of February of 15, they lost to the Patriots in Phoenix. And touch a soft spot there, man.
I mean, it's a tough day to be from Washington and watch that happen.
But they're some of y'all throw it at the 1 yard line deal.
Yeah.
So yeah. Not gonna lie, man. Hey, 3rd and 1 on the 1, run the ball with Marshawn. But we all know that. But he was rehabbing in Houston after he did his labrum surgery, and I reached back out to him and I was like, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is a success I've had. These are the studies. This is what I've known behind it. Give me a shot. I think we what's the recovery time they're telling you? He was like, they're telling me I'll be back in October. I said, if coming back in October, you're gonna miss 4 weeks. He said, yeah, I know. I said, give me a shot, man. I think we can get you back in like late August at worst. And he was like, I was like, no, I'm serious. And he was like, literally, Earl, why would I give you a shot and they know what they doing? I said, yeah, right.
Because you guys weren't hanging out all the time then.
No, we weren't.
Okay.
We weren't. But I mean, when we hung, I mean, he's in Seattle.
Right.
I'm in Texas.
Because he was the safety for you for 1 year.
Yeah,
right.
Basically a year and a half.
Year and a half.
A year and a half. And I mean, we were good friends, but he's in Seattle. I'm in Texas, and I mean, I'm working with high school kids, and not saying that that's not because of the stars of tomorrow, but
totally.
They're no current day Earl Thomas. And I basically told him, I said, well, because it's business. And he's looking at me. I said, those rehab specialists get paid as you show up. So there's actually, and I knew this, because I just left rehab.
Right, I just did this.
So I said, there's actually a program in place, and they're saying by week 4, day 3, you should be able to complete X. They're not taking into account of who you are and how fast you're recovering.
Right.
They diagnose the injury and the proper recovery period for that injury. That's how those programs are laid out. And then it's followed almost on a ABC 1, 2, 3 kind of standpoint. And so he was like, I'm gonna keep going to them. I said, I want you to. He said, let's start 2 days a week. Well, we did. And I poured everything I had into him. And he got back in August. And he did a couple of interviews, and he had mentioned my name. And man, 2014, going into 2015 was a big time. It was a big time. I was at the same time I started traveling. I quit from the medical device sales company, and I made a lot of money with them. And I took the money with them and drained it on flights to different teams, trying to connect with players that I had previously known to give me a shot. So I flew from New Orleans to Denver to Arizona to Green Bay to Dallas to Miami to Atlanta to New York to Chicago, just doing, hey, give me a shot. Look, let's do this for free. If you like it, come holler at me in the off season. If not, I'll stay out your way. I wish you mutual success. Success, right? So the next year's off season came up. So it's 2015 off season here, and I covered just a majority of the NFL at this time, and 2 guys came. Two guys came.
Mind you, keep in mind, he just said he basically dumped his life savings.
Yeah.
Being a 24, 25-year-old.
24 at this point.
24-year-old.
Yeah.
Like, fuck it. Yeah, I made some money.
Yeah.
But we're going to go. We're going to try this.
Yeah, I'm going to try it. And my oldest brother, Mike, was the one that actually gave me the word of advice to go after the dream, which it was scary to do.
Because Mike was in prison, right?
No, Brandon was in prison. That's terrible, man. Brandon's in prison. Tony is in the NFL. Mike's in Dallas.
Okay.
Mike was a brother. My mom said you can go in Dallas with Mike or Alston to Tony. Okay. So Mike was like, this was his word of advice. This is the advice that changed my life. You ready? Yeah, you should try it out, Jay, because you don't have no kids or no college debt. So if you fuck up and fall flat on your face, at least you can start over.
Real talk.
And that's what gave me the confidence to go after my dream. That was it. Knowing that.
So eloquent.
Well, if I fuck up and fall flat on my face, at least I can start over.
Yeah.
So I went after it. And here we are in 2015 at this point, January 15, got 2 guys. And then
Earl
trained him. No, Earl wasn't one of them.
Oh.
Earl went back, and it was first Emmanuel Acho and Keenan Robinson.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and those guys that gave me a shot, and then it continued to grow from there. It grew, and Earl had did a couple of interviews, and they asked him about his rehab process because the labrum was a big deal. Earl was a big deal, and he had mentioned my name. And then the phone started to ring some, and the guys had remembered, oh, yeah. He was around a facility, whatever facility it may have been. And and it's amazing just what the platform of others can do.
Yeah.
And yeah, we got some guys in, and that year went by, and then the next year, like I said, I sent a kid to Florida State the year prior, so I had met Jalen Ramsey while he was at Florida State, and when he came out, reached out to him, and we did some work together, and some national news kind of caught on to it. Jalen ended up going number 5 overall in the draft, in the 2016 draft, I want to say that was, or 2017 draft, one of the two. And then, man, 2 turned into 4, 4 turned into 8, 8 to 16, and before you knew it, we had like 28 different professional athletes.
Mm-hmm.
And from the professional, it was just a professional number. We had like 40 guys in college.
Mm.
And from the college guys, we had like another 100 guys in high school. And here you are 3 years later, and it's like, wow. Like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
A thought process, a dream, struggles, experiences, education, knowledge, failure has turned into something.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a nice little pot of gumbo that just turned into something.
Yeah.
And then Onnit came October of 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Was the first time I
Which
ever
is where we met.
That's when I first time I ever stepped foot in this building, was October of 2016. And then the only reason I was even here was because as Cam was leaving, I was coming here to meet Cam because he wanted to talk to me about some of the training, because he was going to tell his guys to come to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, where you want me to meet you at? And he shot me the address. So I came over here to meet Cam, and I walked in, and I liked what you guys had going on. And it's funny, you were one of the first people I talked to.
Mm-hmm.
You and John Wolf were 2 of the first people I talked to. And just in talking with y'all, I was like, these guys kind of believe what I believe.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of cool. And they have some tools that I've never seen used in ways that I can see as being helpful. I wonder if they'll let me buy some.
Yeah,
that's what I thought, because I was in the middle I was in the middle of purchasing Derek Johnson's facility up north, and so I wanted to put some of these tools.
Yeah.
I was going to put the steel clubs and the maces in my facility.
Yeah.
So I was like, these guys are pretty cool. They're all right. And like I said, I've said it 3 or 4 times. I say it again. I truly believe the path is laid out.
Mm-hmm.
And as fate would have it, I walked in 2016, and you ain't got rid of me yet.
Yeah. We trying though. We trying.
Good luck. But that's the program, man. I mean, we're at the point now where you've seen it. We have the draft classes coming through. We'll have 4 guys become professionals. Well, 5 guys that'll be professional this year. We got probably 8 already lined up for next year. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's at the point now where it's like, it's fun. And I learned a lot, but I still don't know shit.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just going to keep going.
Yeah. Well, a couple things as you guys went through and heard that story. One, what always impresses me most about when Jeremy tells a story that's football related is he breaks down the coverage. He can tell you whose assignment was what his role was, what the defense actually did. And I'm like, oh my God, this was like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like, I remember scoring a touchdown, and then I remember I broke this. It's, I know exactly.
Yeah.
Like, that super impresses me. But that attention to detail and the openness to being a student in that capacity is what's allowed you to be so successful.
I agree.
To be able to go out, because it's one thing to fly out on your own, get a ticket to a game, and maybe meet up with a guy for a drink or have dinner, right? And these guys you went to college with, or you knew at some point through someone else.
Yeah.
But they didn't have to give you a shot.
At all.
At all.
Yeah.
Right? And even Earl almost called you out in the front end.
Right.
Right? So
Right.
it's, what, and the reason why I ask this is because a lot of people want to train NFL athletes, high-level collegiate athletes, rock stars, high school athletes. But what you do when you go out and you meet, and it's not just about like, oh yeah, well, I train Earl, right?
No.
It's about, how you can relate to them, right? And what you can do for them that's not feeding your ego,
Yeah.
right? Because it's not about you.
At all.
It's about what you can do for them.
Service.
And that's it.
Service.
And
And understand, the more success, the higher you climb, the bigger the position, the bigger platform to serve. That's all it is.
That's right.
So when I meet with these guys, unless they bring up one of our guys, I don't talk about any of the former guys I trained. No, because I'm not here with you to talk about him.
Mm-hmm.
Because honestly, to be quite frank, what he does ain't got shit to do with you.
Yeah.
And that's vice versa. That's kind of what it really boils down to. So when I'm talking to somebody, usually if I've already done my homework, And when I talk to them personally, I talk about what I see.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at first this was offensive to people,
Mm-hmm.
but now they, because of our success as a program and a division within Onnit, they actually they want to know, well, what do
Mm-hmm.
you see?
Mm-hmm.
And so I love. Been watching film since I was 6 years old,
Right.
so I love talking about. Hey, well, this is what I always say. Well, the tape says,
Yeah.
because I don't want you to think my opinion is in it.
Right.
Hearing who you are from you is one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Hearing who you are from others is another thing. But the tape says
Mm-hmm.
this. This is what the tape says. It's about you as a player. I don't know you as a person yet,
Mm-hmm.
but as you as a player, this is what the tape says. And it shows up here, 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 and here. And I think that it can be detrimental to your career here, 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 and here. And you've been getting away with it because you've been able to do X, Y, Z.
Mm.
I think that if we were to work together, then our area of focus would be here because it would then affect here, here, here.
Mm-hmm.
It's basic. It's film study and just through conversation.
Yeah.
So we talk ball.
Mm-hmm.
We talk ball. We talk actual ball. And then a question that I ask all the guys is simply, well, what's your goals?
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to do with this, with everything, with the career, with the contract, and then with this upcoming year more specifically? What do you want to do? What are your goals? What do you see yourself as a player? What do you think you need to work on?
Mm-hmm.
Because when we can have those conversations honestly, then we can make treadway. We can do
Yeah.
what we need to do from there. So that's honest. I love having those type of conversations because in my mind, that's the start. That's where we press the start button on our journey together.
Yeah.
That's where we decide, okay, this is where we're working from. This is where we agree we need work at.
Mm-hmm.
And I always say we,
Mm-hmm.
because we in it together.
Yeah.
So this is where we need work at. This is where we're great at. This is where we need to improve. And this is how we're going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
The plan is laid out, and then we stick to it and go. And I mean, I've been blessed because now there's a staff around between Jesse, between Shannon, between Todd, between Khaki, between Wolf, you, Christian, CJ, Sean, and Sean's seen the up and downs. Man.
Mm-hmm.
Sean has really seen the ups and downs. But there's a staff around of subject matter experts who can pour into what myself and this athlete have already agreed. Well, this is where we need our help at.
Mm-hmm.
I need Jay. Honestly, I just need to get a hold on nutrition. Well, look, let's sit down with Shannon.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, man, I wish my hip. I need to be more mobile in my hip. Let's sit down with Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, I got to get stronger. Let's sit down with CJ.
Mm-hmm.
So we can throw that at them and really help these guys to another level. And the guys, when you talk to them, they care.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they say. They care.